Hello everyone, welcome to the Totally Well Show. I'm your host, Joyce Strong. The Totally Well Show is a place where we get curious, ask questions, and explore everything to do with health, wellness, fitness, and all the things it takes to help you live the highest quality, most fulfilling life. I'm here today with my guest, Cathy Clement Fresh. And Catherine is a licensed massage therapist. Welcome, Cathy.
Hello, Joyce. How are you today?
I'm good. So good to have you here and getting reacquainted. We've met it through networking, I think, a few years back. And so I just wanted to give a little bit of how people reach you, and I'll remind at the end. So a lot of people know Cathy as Cathy Clement, but recently married.
Right.
So she's got a fresh start because she is her last name is now Fresh. Her website is Cathy Clement with C's.net, and also you can go to a Facebook page, Clement Massage, and find her there. So that's the housekeeping part of what we do here, and we'll remind people at the end as well how to reach out to you.
Okay.
So I wanted to kind of get reacquainted since it's been a while, and I'm remembering some things and some things I don't think I knew before. Just first of all, you have a family.
Right.
So,
I have grown children.
Yeah, 3 of your own.
3 of my own, and now I have 2 stepsons.
2 steps. So what are they, girls, boys?
There's 1 girl and 4 boys now.
Yeah, so your own children are boys?
I have an oldest boy and boy-girl twins.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you had twins.
Yeah, my twins are 26 years old.
Oh, very nice. And then you've got 2 more boys with...
Right, and they're grown. They're in their 30s and late 20s.
Yeah, yeah. And you work in New Hampshire. You're licensed in New Hampshire, so you do your massage therapy in the state of New Hampshire, not in Massachusetts.
Right, right. I provide massage in a number of locations. My primary practice is in Merrimack, New Hampshire, at a family-run hair salon. I also work at a spa, and I go out to businesses and people's homes.
Oh, okay. So you go to, is it done in groups, or how does that work?
I provide table and chair massage. So typically when I'm at a business, I'm providing chair massage.
I see. Okay. But you can do table as well. Do you ever do like events that are out in the open, that kind of thing?
I do.
Yeah?
I do. They're good for promotional.
Yeah.
And chair massage in general is really a wonderful way to introduce people to the modality.
I see.
And to meet a lot of people. It's really fun.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to take a step back to find out, like, I have this thought about people always kind of knew who they were back from high school days. And I wanted to kind of trace where you started from, like back from high school and college. Like, where were you then?
Well, in high school, I was a very good student, and I wanted to become a doctor. My mother was wise, but also very cautious, and she informed me that a doctor's life would be a difficult life, challenging, long work hours and everything like that. So she really didn't encourage me to become a doctor, and I wasn't as empowered as some of the children are today, so I listened to her. And my high school guidance teacher, because of my aptitude for math and science, really steered me towards engineering.
Engineering.
Right, right. So I went to a very difficult school. I went to RPI, Rensselaer, and became an electrical engineer.
Yeah.
And I worked in engineering for almost 15 years. In the beginning, I was in a lab, and it was a classified lab where I was kind of had to work alone, and I realized that didn't suit me at all. I didn't like working alone. I needed to work with other people. So fortunately, I gravitated towards engineering jobs that had me out in the field, and I was able to do technical support and training, write documentation, and that really suited me. Right. So then, fast forward, and I have my children, and they're young in grade school, and unfortunately, concurrently, both my parents got cancer.
Oh, my.
And so I had a lot to do with helping them at their end-of-life care. And also, my children's grandparents on the other side of the family had major health issues. So I was really thrown into that role of helping and caring for people. And my folks died before I was 40, 4 months apart.
Oh my.
So that kind of left me at wit's end. I really felt I didn't feel as if engineering was going to fulfill me and I could go back to that. I just felt like there had been a great schism in my life and I needed to do something different. So I literally stumbled into the massage therapy information night at the community college nearby. And I found out how rigorous the program was, so that appealed to the academic side. And it also helped open up the more personable side of me and learning about a lot of different modalities, healing techniques. And so I became a licensed massage therapist in New Hampshire.
Wow, that's a big.
That was a big story. To
Yeah, a
give
big
you all at
transition.
once.
Yeah,
right.
That's really impressive to hear. So you went when the family members got sick, the kids were small. You left your job and just your job.
I think a lot of us feel, we had 2 working parents. The children came fast and furious because my oldest is 2.5 years older than my twins.
Yeah.
Which I can't say any of them were oopsie babies, but we really didn't expect 3 so close together.
Yeah.
So I think when they got to grade school, 1st, 2nd grade, it became obvious to their father and I that both of us working full time and it was just getting crazy. Our lifestyle was very crazy. So I had backed off to part-time.
Yeah.
We felt that when they got to 1st grade, 2nd grade, our home life might be a little bit easier, but that's a little bit of a misnomer with the projects and the homework and the places that they have to go.
Yeah.
And almost the complexity of what they were doing. It's one thing to share snacks and diaper changes. It's another thing to share book reports and which page of math homework is due, So they needed somebody more at home that was consistent. So I had already stepped away.
Did you have that opportunity to be a stay-at-home mom for a while?
Yes, I always worked part-time,
Yeah.
but I had that opportunity. And then it was while I was in that opportunity that I began helping my children's grandparents, one after another.
Yeah. Wow. Things happen for us, not to us.
Right. And although it was challenging, it was a role that I appreciated. And even as much as my mother's last month of hospice at my house, although it was sad, it was bittersweet in that I did get the opportunity to spend all that time with her when I could.
Yeah, you were there.
Right. That was a privilege that I was able to already have started to step back from my career, and I could even step back a little further and have that time to be with her.
Yeah.
So she taught me a lot from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, very poignant. What do you think? What some of the more powerful lessons are that she taught you?
Well, she was a very kind and compassionate person, very loving.
Yeah.
So she taught me that, and inadvertently she taught me some things where she was very quiet and didn't really stand up for her beliefs as much, and I've learned to reverse that role, or try every day to reverse that role.
Yeah, so you think that you've learned to stand up more for your principles or things that you believe in?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Very nice. So in your work now with massage, and you work in all these different venues and relationships, groups and individuals, which I know I've done some of that in my practice as a coach, and I know it gets tricky because there's a lot of details to have and transitions to have to make.
True.
I'd like to talk a little bit about what you do specifically in your specialty in massage and how that helps people. So some of the things that that you've learned now, 15 years later, you've been doing this as long as you did your previous career.
Right. I started my massage therapy training a year or two after I lost my parents.
Yeah.
And then I didn't really consider weaving in any engineering type jobs to that. But I needed to kind of have an income to keep myself afloat. And so I did a lot of elder care jobs. And I really found that I enjoyed helping, taking care of people, which wasn't really any big surprise. So now, because I'm able to have a number of places where I practice massage, and because the elder care jobs brought me to senior facilities in my community, I have a outline of my week's schedule, places that I know I'm at certain times, but every day is a little bit different, and I like that. I kind of thrive on that. I'm not so good at having a routine. I get bored easily, maybe you might say that. But I also feel like I can influence more people that way too. Sometimes I'll take a job outside of my normal schedule, like to go do chair massage at a community event or a hospital or something, because I can act kind of as an ambassador. It used to be I'd be an ambassador for my own private practice, which is thriving. So now I'm kind of as an ambassador for massage in general.
Very nice.
Yes, yes.
So in some of the venues that you work, can you tell me what you've learned about massage that helps people? Like, what's the benefit of massage? I know people do it for different reasons.
Right. The benefits are multiple. You'll see many charts about the benefits of massage, and I can't even say almost, but every physical system of our body can benefit from massage. To start, our skin is our largest organ. Our skin needs attention. We have our senses, and the sense of touch is a major one that sometimes gets overlooked. Many people don't have pets, loved ones around them where they're able to get that touch on a regular basis, so massage can help them. So I'm talking a little bit about some of the benefits of massage that aren't readily obvious, because I think now most people are aware of how it helps circulation, our musculoskeletal system. It helps athletes prepare and wind down after events. It helps prevent injuries. But also, taking time for massage helps someone realign their priorities, realign how they're feeling about themselves. Massage is typically booked by the number of minutes you're with your therapist. And the most typical time for a massage is an hour. Many people don't spend an hour a day without their cell phones in their hands or looking at something. So spending an hour with your therapist who is helping you relax, not necessarily talking to you, is a gift that you can give yourself. It's a way to pull your plug and reset. And that, I think, is a great benefit of massage that might often be overlooked. I mean, I can think of some others. The sense of touch, the relaxation and disconnecting is important. I also feel in all our body systems, one of the ones that's most overlooked is the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is a powerhouse to help us fight off disease and infections and everything. And the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. It doesn't have a heart or the lungs. And the lymphatic system works mostly by exercise and gravity. Well, people who don't get a lot of exercise, elderly or the infirm, and people who work in office jobs, their lymph can use a boost. And massage is a great way to help the lymph move around the body so that it can do the great job that it does.
And when we're talking about the lymphatic system and your immune system, it's helping
Right.
to support
Exactly.
your immune system.
Right. Mhm.
These are all great points because I know people generally get an idea, although I think there's a lot of misinformation out there when it comes to healthcare in general. But to just like the unplugging, what happens to your body when you unplug? Like where does your brain go? What happens to your body then?
Right.
Do people talk to you about that? Like, what do you think? What happens when people unplug? What's that experience for them?
People will often leave in what we call a massage fog.
Yeah.
They'll almost be like they woke up from a nap or a dream state. But I encourage them to take even a little bit longer than their massage session before they re-enter the real world. and think our bodies have a knowing of what's good or not good for us. As an engineer, I was skeptical of things like muscle testing and of a body knowing that the Twinkie was bad and the apple was good, but it seriously does happen. And I think when you've taken that time with a massage, it helps open yourself up to that knowing that your body has. It's easier to you can gain clarity in making some of your decisions as to, what do I do next? Do I go, I always talk about the labyrinth in Nashua. Do I go walk the labyrinth or do I go through the drive-through? What do I do now because I don't have to be back to work for another 45 minutes? Those kind of things are the healthy choice for you will come more naturally.
So you're listening to information from your body, not just from like your prefrontal cortex where you're in your head and trying to make a logical thing. You're listening to other information that your body has available that we may ignore.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's so difficult when there's TV screens at the bank and at the airport, and there's screens in our car and things. It's very, very difficult to carve out a place where you aren't bombarded with a lot of other people's images, and your massage time can be that. That can be that time, and I think that's really important.
Where you're forming maybe, or listening to your own images.
And it can be a type of meditation as well. It can be. Many people fall asleep while they're getting their feet massaged.
Really?
But to me, that's a compliment because they're that relaxed in my presence. And it's just so powerful to work with people's feet, and such a privilege when people allow me to go to that core that they have and really stimulate so many important areas in the feet. I practice reflexology, which is a part of that. And
can you talk a little bit about that, just to help our audience understand that word reflexology and what you're talking about?
I like to keep things simple, and reflexology is a way to treat the entire body through the feet. So there are energy meridians in our bodies, and they start and end on the feet. So there are sensitive areas on your feet that reflect parts of your body. For example, if you have congested lungs, I can work on that lung congestion through your feet. But the very bottom line is you're getting a wonderful foot massage, which always helps. But it's also another way to address certain issues that you might have.
So there's a mapping on the foot?
There can be. I don't believe different teachers will show you different mappings. I don't believe the mapping is the same for any one individual. There are general areas. We all want everything to be textbook and black and white, but as different as your facial features are for you and me, the way our backs are, the way our vertebrae are stacked up, and our scapulas is as unique for every single person. Nobody's like when you open it up in the anatomy book. And so a practitioner understands that and knows that, but really nobody has that knowledge as much as you do. I might get a funny feeling in the pit of my stomach when something isn't quite going the right way. Somebody else will get it in their throat or, between their shoulder blades. And all of those things are valid. They may say, oh, I don't have that gut instinct that somebody else has. Well, you may have it, but it doesn't show up the same as it does in somebody else.
I love that you said that, because I've had some personal experience with when I had breast cancer and I had reconstruction, and I was looking for a plastic surgeon, and that experience taught me, people just said, I'm the best, and here, I can do this, and I just didn't have a sense of believing them,
Right.
and I was confused, and then I got what you just said. You're the first person who I heard say this. I say it often, is we all look different on the outside, so it stands to reason we all look different on the inside too, and that this plastic surgeon who I ended up going with said that to me, said,
good.
said that when I go in, first of all, I've done 400 of these. I've had 99% or 95% success rate, and I can show you. Here's the pictures of the people,
Right.
But he said that you need to go in with Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, because you're going to get surprised that this vessel that you thought was going to be there isn't there. And then I'm thinking of the nerves and all the other things, like they
Right.
find their way. And it can be unusual.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So I love that you said that, and it just, and this, when I work with people too, the same thing. Every person's different, so don't ask for a cookie cutter approach, because
Exactly.
you're not going to get what you need.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's within our bodies, within our spiritual systems. It's all systems, and we have systems upon systems, and and all of them have variations within them.
Yeah. So it's good to understand, as practitioners in our fields, to understand the anatomy books and that piece of
Right.
it.
It's a guideline.
A guideline, yeah. But then to go beyond it, as you have, to say, let me hear what your body's telling me.
Right, right.
Let's find out.
Right.
Earlier we were talking a little bit about sort of your general philosophy, which I also really loved when we were, preambling a little bit. That people aren't broken.
Oh, no. Everyone's different,
Yeah.
but nobody's broken. And I don't believe in self-fulfilling prophecies. I'm old, I can't do this, or even, I had a knee replacement, so I'll never be able to climb that mountain. All of those things, you can say you can or you can't. You can be right both times or wrong both times. It's amazing to get to the point of healing where you don't remember whether it was your right or your left ankle that you tore the ligaments on. Yeah. You have to really think about it when that injury was with you for 30 years, and every time you took a hike, you bandaged that ankle. But I'm that person, Our bodies are amazing, our abilities are amazing, and it's just almost exciting that the capabilities that people have,
If they allow it.
Right, get out of our own way.
Yeah.
Get out of our own way, and if a practitioner or a family member, a friend is putting roadblocks in your way, they may have reasons to do that. Like my mother didn't want me to become a doctor. She had her reasons. She cared
She's
and
trying
loved
to
for
protect
me.
you.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So you don't want to, be angry or mad. Appreciate that person for what they're trying to do, but sidestep them because you know who you are.
Yeah. So it sounds like a lot of what you do is with people through example, through the way you live your life, is
Right.
to help people expand their thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true?
Right.
And remove limiting beliefs or obstacles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when a person comes to you for massage, I'm feeling the way you do things is very interactive.
It can be. I let the person lead. If they want to talk a lot and get a lot of information, that's wonderful. If they want to unplug, I totally honor that, because there are not very many places in this world that you can do that. I want to give people a safe place. I want to sit with them. You know, some people will start effusing personal issues, things like that. It's not my job to redirect them in any way, and just to reassure them that, you know, time heals most things, and kind of hold space with them, and not to judge, because there's so many circumstances none of us could ever know.
That is such a rare thing too, to be able to do for people, to just go in and hold space and not judge, not attempt to fix or solve.
Right.
You know, in our desire to relieve the pain for them or for us hearing something, we may go there, but to not go there is a really useful skill. In fact, I've learned it's one of the things you can do if somebody is in a really state of despair, in a dark place, is to just be there with them.
And not try to give them a lollipop and cheer them up. If they're not able to go through their process, they may not heal as well. You know, the healing may only be skin deep. Emotional reactions happen when people are getting massaged and getting treatment. Again, it's easy for me to speak from my own experience. I had a number of abdominal surgeries, and it wasn't until a physical therapist was actually working on my C-section scar that a whole bunch of things just kind of came out, you know, and to think that I was holding all that for such a long time. But, you know, I had little babies, I had things going on, and, you know, and that particular physical therapist, I had been a massage therapist for a while when I was seeking out that support, and I knew to visit, I like to say 3 or 4, but 3 is a good number to compare and contrast, you know, situations. So I visited 3 different physical therapists before I knew which one was the right one to work with me. And that particular afternoon's interaction kind of redirected the course of many things. I had a doctor who told me I'd never ever be able to do a sit-up again in my life, that I shouldn't do them, that it would, you know, I could have reoccurring injuries and things like that. And of course, if someone tells you you don't have to exercise and they're a medical professional, I kind of took that as a ticket, you know, yay. But that wasn't the right ticket to take, and I knew subsequently that I had to not listen to him and listen to myself and rebuild my core and become more strong again. And so I did that by my gut instinct, working, you know, meeting a few different physical therapists to see which one was right for me. You know, people often ask me for recommendations for a chiropractor or a massage therapist. And it's okay to meet someone that's not right for you and go on to the next person. Even if that particular practitioner is the best one for your next door neighbor and helped your next door neighbor, you know, climb a mountain or whatever, it might not be the right one for you, and you know it. You know?
I love that. Well, guess what? We have about a minute left.
Really? Oh, that went so fast.
And I know. And I could go on and on, so which always means that we'll have to invite you back on to have another discussion about this. But wonderful stuff. I just want to ask you quickly, what are the top 3 things it takes for you to be totally well?
Well, that self-awareness, taking time for reflection. I need a lot of love and a lot of touch. I realize that. I need people close to me, and that's probably one of the things that drew me to massage therapist. So I did too, right? My personal time, my family relationships, nutrition. We need the proper nutrition, and it's becoming easier and easier all the time. But you know, we really need to be mindful about nutrition and exercise.
Beautiful things to do to support your health. I love it.
Thank
and
you.
I love how you said easier and easier, because when we practice things, they do become part of who we are, and it's not something
Right.
we have to think about as hard.
Right. It's part of our awareness, but our society is changing, which is good. It's always changing. It's always in flux, you know.
Yeah.
And I see some of the screens going away. My bank doesn't have a television in it anymore, and that makes me really happy.
Well, thank you for visiting with me today and
Thanks.
letting me get to know you and let our guests get to know you better. And we'll talk again soon.
Great. Thank you,
Yeah.
Joyce.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.